We did see on Friday the Africa-Saudi Business Summit, which held in the capital of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Speaking of Riyadh, we saw where over 50 countries represented in that summit. What does this hold for not just Nigeria, but the entire African continent? And joining me now to discuss this is Matthias Sado. He is a public affairs analyst, and he's joining me to discuss just what this might mean, that summit might mean for Nigeria. And thank you, sir, for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you, Ramaka.
Thank you. I just spoke about how the Africa-Saudi summit held on Friday, and we saw a lot of agreements being signed, not just by Nigeria, but different African nations had agreements signed with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. What do you make of this summit?
Oh, thank you, Amaka, once again. Well, you see, it's a good thing that our leaders are searching for investments across the globe. But the most important thing, like I always say, is that how prepared is your ground? How ready is your own environment? Because investments are not necessarily what you chase after. Investments identify opportunities, analyze the threats, and look at the profits and take their decision. So basically, when I see our leaders running around trying to say we're looking for foreign direct investments, the question is always, what have you done to prepare the ground for this investment? What are the kind of positions or instruments you have put on ground as a nation, as a people? Let's take a look at our state of insecurity. Let's look at our state of trade, trade taxes, and the availability of labor and infrastructure in the society. If these things are not addressed, no matter how wide or how far you run after investments across the country, across the globe, they might not come. So I think for me, for Nigeria as a country, the first thing that we should be addressing at the moment is the issues at the domestic issues we have, the problems that we have at home. And you see, when people say, oh no, you need to fix the society before we can get investment, it's not necessarily that you must fix everything. Secure an environment, secure a certain place. Let there be infrastructure, let there be electricity, let there be a lot of just create what I'll call industrial zones or industrial parks, whereby I have virtually everything that I need to operate as a business. So when you're able to secure that kind of environment, you find out that investments will come from everywhere. But yes, I think for a government that is new, that is looking for the symbolism of being seen to be serious or being seen to be doing something, let's give it to them and let's hope that, yes, at the end of the day, it is going to materialize into something that will be tangible for an average person on the streets of the country to feel the impact. But mind you, why all of that was going on in Saudi, where the president of Nigeria is in Saudi, some Nigerians were, being turned back from Saudi Arabia, the same country that is looking to do business with the country, So anyway, I'm sure that is the topic for another day. But these are some of the things that are the repercussions of having an unserious society that the global community have seen and perceived us to be. So, yeah, but to your question, I think let's give it to them and let's hope that it will materialize and lead to something positive for the citizens of this country.
Okay, Mr. Sado, you spoke about having the right environment for businesses to thrive in Nigeria. From your own point of view, what two low-hanging fruit issues would you say the Nigerian government should address in order to attract foreign direct investments from Saudi Arabia?
I think the ease of doing business is one fundamental thing that needs to be addressed. And like I said, provide an industrial park whereby, because what we need really is not so much about maybe goods that I don't know. What we need are more like goods that will be manufactured in our country. So if you can create an environment where we can have these kind of goods being produced in our country, it will be a good thing. And for you to be able to do that, you address the issue of insecurity. You address the issue of trust deficit that the people, the citizens of the country, and even the foreigners have, the fear that they have for that the Nigerian government or politicians are not trustworthy. Address the issue of corruption, the bottlenecks in the bureaucracies and all that. Look at how you can, because these are actually human factors, human issues. You can deal with these issues by setting up systems, institutions that can deal with these problems and come up with a plan or with a comprehensive plan that can address the issue, not just trying to solve all the problems at once, but if you can deal with this, with the issue of insecurity, you can deal with the issue of trust deficit that the people have against their government. You can deal with the issue of corruption. You can deal with the issue of bottleneck in the bureaucracies we have in the system. And you should also, like, I think there was a time that the government was trying to do something about registration of new businesses and all that. And then another very important thing is access to capital. Access to capital has been a big problem in Nigeria, even doing business in the country. So look at how you can address this. The high rate of interest rates, it's extremely high. There's no way that anyone can want to do business in society like this. So these are some of the low-hanging fruits that can be harvested if you have a very serious-minded government.
Okay, very quickly, Mr. Sado, Nigeria and Saudi Arabia have a lot in common, especially with the oil industry. How can we leverage in that sector, especially as Saudi Arabia is has one of the biggest exporters of oil in the world? What would you say Nigeria and Saudi Arabia can do or can collaborate in that regard?
Adopt the Aramco model. Adopt the Aramco model and make the Nigeria oil and the Nigeria NNPC to become one of the global brand that at the New York Stock Exchange, Nigeria NNPC will be listed as one of the businesses that globally will be invested in. If we identify that as the only thing that we will need to do with the Saudis for now. Look, let them show you their model. How is it working? Then once that model is, they show you that model, let's adopt it and see how we can get our refineries working in Nigeria, and then see how much you can reduce the cost of production of crude in the country. So that you have, when prices of crude go up, you have good return on the production you make. It's not the one that you are producing crude oil at a very ridiculous price compared to other countries. So I think that is one area, particularly in the area of oil. We must look for a way to ensure that our own system, our own NNPC become like Aramco. And globally, it will be something that everyone, people will want to invest in.
Your input has been well appreciated.